Good morning. This is Board Report. We usually host this at the studio over at Channel 17, and Celia is usually the co-host for this program. This being summer, of course, Celia is off and following a little bit of a different format, but in Board Report, we just let you know what was covered at the most recent board meeting and sort of put it in perspective as to the everyday operations of the district. Last night, one of the areas that was covered under Superintendent's report, our Director of Special Education, Teresa Cantu, and our PRC Principal, the Daryl Hester Amaro Rodriguez Principal as well, presented to the board information on the RF tracker and the monitor that's been assigned to the district. As you remember, some months ago, a monitor was assigned to the district by TEA. Last night was a report as to how things are going, how things have been corrected. And the main point of emphasis to the board last night was to show the board that a big percentage of the students that we service there at the Amador Rodriguez, at the Daryl Hester, and at the SCAM programs are students that come to us from different parts of the state. In fact, many of the students that are there are not ours. The percentage of students that are ours from San Benito is a very small percentage. But we have to provide the services for all students that were arrested in Cameron County. We have to provide the educational component for them. When the problem arose was that some of these students, over 23% or so of the students that were arrested, are considered special education students. And special education students have different guidelines that we have to follow and we have to meet. What was also brought out to the board last night was that a lot of these mistakes that we were cited for were mistakes that were created in other districts, but we in turn had to take the responsibility for them because the students became ours when they were arrested. Now, some of them were ours for less than 24 hours, but still we were held responsible for the paperwork that goes with special ed and the things that have to be done. So I think that the board last night had a better understanding when all this was completed as to the problems, the very unique problems that we face there at the Daryl Hester facility. Now, the RF tracker was originally a lawsuit that was set out a number of years ago where TEA was sued, and it was based on the fact that at a nursing home, a student was not being provided the appropriate education. It was never really intended for students that were incarcerated, but students that were incarcerated were also considered to be students that were in residential facilities. So therefore, all these guidelines fell into place. But again, we're in the process of the monitor will probably just be with us another couple of weeks. All the paperwork has been corrected. We're in the process of working with the districts that are sending us these students to try and get them to comply, and if not, we're documenting that they're not cooperating with us so we can send this information over to TEA. So that was part of that special ed progress report that was presented to the board last night. Also last night we spoke about construction. Leal Elementary is on schedule to be opened in August the 22nd, I believe, when our students come back. Leal will be ready, fully functional, fully staffed, ready to go. The county right now is working on the street in front of Leal Elementary to get that corrected as far as a turning lane into the school to make it safe. Roberts Elementary will be open. There will be construction going on at Roberts. We're moving in some portables to temporarily house the food area, the food serving area, and what have you. Behind Roberts, it will be a secure place. We will fence off the area where construction is for safety for the students, but we do ask for your patience for this year while Roberts Elementary is under construction. Also during the board meeting last night, it was mentioned about some problems that we were experiencing here at central office, that the floor in certain areas, the northeast corner of this building, that the floor was sinking. There was concern that there may be a structural problem with the building. After a review by a structural engineer, it was determined that the building is perfectly sound, perfectly safe. The only problem we were having was that the floor in a certain area was sinking because it wasn't properly attached to the foundation of the building. So that'll be corrected in the next couple of weeks or so, and that problem will be taken care of. Another area that we're concerned about, of course, and we've been talking about it all summer long, has been the budget. The legislature finally passed the budget bill, finally passed a bill that's going to determine how the money is distributed, and we finally know for sure how much money as a district we're going to lose. We had speculated all along, and our speculation was pretty close to what really happened. The first year of the biennium, remember, education is funded in Texas in a biennium, which means every 2 years. The first year of the biennium will be 11-12, the second year will be 12-13, and then the legislature meets again and they fund for the following biennium. The bad news is that the state doesn't expect to be out of problems by the time the other biennium rolls around in 13-14. So it seems like we're going to be into this for the long haul. We're going to lose a little bit over $4 million the first year of the biennium, which is the 11-12 year. Then the second year of the biennium, which is the 12-13, we're scheduled to lose a little bit over $1 million. So overall, for the next 2 years, our district will be short over $5 million that the state will not send us funding for because they have cut us. If you remember, and that's every district in the state of Texas, every district in the state of Texas got cut. We being a poor district, and the poor districts, for whatever reason, are being cut more than the more wealthy districts, but that's just the way it is, and those are the cards that were dealt to us, and those are the cards that we have to play with. So we have to adjust our budget for $4 million for this next biennium. We're having a budget workshop that's scheduled for the 26th of this month. We're going to sit down with the board. We're going to present all the options. We're going to show them exactly what's coming in, exactly what's going out, exactly what we're recommending where the cuts be. You know, we had been putting money aside into fund balance to help us over this period, and we will be okay for this biennium for the next 2 years. But if the state doesn't fix anything by the following biennium, well, then, you know, we, not only us, but every other district in the state is going to be in serious trouble unless the state does something to fix this. So in the meantime, we will meet, we will have a budget workshop, we will work with our budget, we'll tighten the belt where the belt needs to be tightened, we'll do what we have to do. We have always said that our priorities were, first of all, not to have it affect our educational programs, and secondly, not to have it affect our personnel, not having to lose anybody over this. So this is where we stand on the budget. We'll have more on it as we progress after the workshop. After we know exactly what we're going to do, we will, you know, continue to keep you informed. So that's basically, in a nutshell, you know, what happened during the board meeting last night. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for staying tuned to Channel 17 for all the different developments that happen in our school district. And we're just very appreciative for everything that our community does for this school district. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.